Street, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you for having me.
Trupeer.ai just raised $3 million to change the way businesses create product videos, and it's not your average screen recorder. Built for the speed and scale of modern teams, Trupeer turns raw screen recordings into polished AI-powered videos in seconds, complete with avatars, voiceovers, and translations in over 50 languages. Over 10,000 teams already use it for everything from demos to training. Backed by RTP Global and Salesforce Ventures, this Bengaluru and SF-based startup is betting big on making workplace communication video first and lightning fast. Joining me now to discuss this further is Shivali Goyal, the co-founder and CEO of Trupeer. Shivali, thank you so much for being here with us on Startup Street. You know, you are an AI-based content creation platform. If you could take us through the specific problem that you're trying to solve for, and if you could take us through what's on offer.
Absolutely, Arundhati. Really nice to be on this platform today and talk to you. What we're essentially doing is trying to democratize content creation for the world of software and products, right? So if you look at, the software world today, right, with AI, it's become so much easier to create new software, right? Like every day you can spin up new tools, prototypes, etc. But when you look at the communication layer around it, right, being able to talk about it, being able to market it, being able to sell it, being able to train people on it, that layer is still broken, right? Because content creation is fundamentally hard. So what we have done is we've created a really, really easy to use self-serve platform where anyone, irrespective of their skills, resources, or time, can create studio quality videos in a matter of minutes, right? So something that would take thousands of dollars and weeks is now being done in minutes in like 50 to 60 languages, across the world. So that's what we enable.
Right. And what sort of makes Trupeer's AI video engine stand out from traditional screen recorders or video editors and, other firms that you're sort of competing with at this point?
Absolutely. So if you look at, traditional screen recorders, right, the place where they start, where they end is where we actually start, right? So a screen recording typically is just like really rough, right? You have to put in a lot of effort in scripting, editing, and making it actually perfect and ready to use, right? Whereas what we have done is essentially taken all of that headache away from the user. So if you do a really rough screen recording where, you're saying anything, you're sort of showing different things on your screen, but you're not really perfect about it, we will make it perfect, right? So in literally minutes, we convert that rough screen recording into something really professional without you having to spend any time in editing, adding visual effects, zoom effects, scripting, voiceover, etc. Right? So that's the fundamental value. And if you compare it to traditional video editors, right, like they're actually built only for people who know video editing, right? So you need that professional skill. Whereas if you look at our platform, that's actually now, like you said, it's being used by 10,000 plus teams. And these people happen to be first-time video creators, right? These are people who've never made videos before, but now they're making like hundreds of videos a month just because it's so much easier to do, right? So it's engineers, marketers, sales teams, customer support teams, and so on, right? So those people are finally able to create professional quality videos.
Sure. And, you've raised this $3 million in funding. How do you sort of plan to use these funds? What's on top of the agenda?
Absolutely. So what we're seeing, Arundhati, is that there's a wide need for this kind of a solution across markets, right, across countries as well as across functions, right, all the way from sales to customer support to product marketing. So obviously, the first thing on our agenda is global expansion, right? So a lot of this fund will actually be utilized towards accelerating that. But even if you look at our product, right, there's so many vectors of growth, right, beyond the content creation that we do today. There's other formats of video creation that we can enable for our users. And then how to utilize that content in actually driving business value, right? Be it solving support tickets or be it, actually driving sales conversions, right? So there are so many workflows and, there's a platformization almost that can be done around this layer of content. So that's the product acceleration that we'll be working on.
So product acceleration and, geographic expansion. But if you could sort of take us through the kind of engagement that you're currently seeing, how are teams using Trupeer, and what's the kind of impact it's having across functions like marketing, support, and training?
Absolutely. So, interestingly, when we started, we thought that it's going to be used by very specific teams, right? Like be it product marketers or people who actually have the mandate of making demos. But then, interestingly, what we start seeing in organizations is that once a couple of people in the company adopt it, it rapidly spreads to other teams as well. Whoever needs to communicate anything on their screen, right? Be it an engineer who's trying to sort of create, like, let's say, a test case video, right? Earlier, they would have to actually go on a Zoom call to communicate that, but now they can just do a Trupeer video, right? So we see rapid expansion across functions within the company, and most of it is organic because they end up seeing one or two videos, right? They see a video and they're like, okay, I also want to create something like this. So that's something that we're seeing. And I think the other interesting vector here is that apart from startups who were sort of our initial adopters, we are now seeing a lot of enterprise adoption, right? So in our suite of clients, we also now have Fortune 500 companies, right? And their teams using it for global, training, global transformation, digital initiatives, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of enterprise level movement that we are now seeing.
So lots of enterprise level movement that you're seeing. But if you could take us through your business model then and the kind of, revenues that you're currently clocking, where do you hope to end this year? Also, is it mainly through subscription? Are there other revenue streams as well?
Absolutely. So, our main model of revenue generation is subscriptions, right? So we offer subscriptions all the way like from, $50 a month to, something that can actually go into hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on, your video needs, like how many videos you need to create in a month, how many teams need to use it, how many seats need to leverage it. But we've created in a way that we offer a very generous free tier as well, right? So the idea is that anyone who just wants to try it out can just go on our app and make a couple of videos and get comfortable and only then subscribe, right? So what we see in our like I said in these companies is that first a couple of people start adopting it individually as self-serve plans, and then they bubble up into enterprise plans, right? Because they have larger needs. So that's sort of the revenue trajectory that we are seeing, and like month on month we are growing like 50 to 60%. So by the end of the year, it's going to be quite a sizable revenue.
All right, quite a sizable revenue, not giving us any numbers there. But, if you could sort of take us through your presence, you were talking about big geographic expansion as well with the funds that you've raised. What's the global expansion plan? How big will the India market be for you? If you could sort of give us also a revenue split between the geographies.
Absolutely. So right now, around 50 to 60% of our revenue is actually US, and another 30 to 40% is India, and then there are other markets as well. Where we see that this platform has adoption wherever there's a lot of software being created, right? So obviously, US and Europe tend to be like a big chunk of that. So that will continue to be significant for us. But having said that, given the language angle, right? Given that for the first time, people are able to make videos in any language, so that language barrier is solved for, we are actually seeing adoption in a lot of like language sensitive markets, right? Like be it South America, be it, markets in Europe like Germany, Spain, Italy, etc. Right? So there's a lot of demand coming from these markets where they would traditionally not be able to open up their platform for the world just because there was a language barrier.
Right. And, you are currently present in over 50 languages. Are you looking at sort of, developing languages for the Indian market as well?
Absolutely. So that's actually a big part of, what we've already done, right? Like if you look at, some of our enterprise clients in India, they're actually now creating content for, like for in Marathi, in Telugu, in Tamil, right? And they were earlier not able to do that just because there were not enough resources or translators or speech writers, right? So now they're able to take that one video and translate it into 50 other, in 3 or 4 other regional languages, and then actually help educate those native speakers on their software, on or whatever training that they want to do.
All right, Shivali, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street.
Absolutely. Thank you.